you guys. Thank you, Alan. And thank you, Ray, for the invite, by the way. I guess one of the reasons why I'm here because CityU is also one of our shareholders. So that's why I guess, and Professor Guo Wei, your principal, is our honorable advisors. And maybe that's the reason why I'm here today. I was actually asked to share my entrepreneurial journey. I would like to start with some questions. Then that actually would help you guys to understand a bit of like the reason why I started startups and the reason why I keep doing the tech company in Hong Kong, which was being named as the desert of the technologies it used to be. But now, and the reason why I'm doing it in Hong Kong. Now let's start with a very simple question, but very brutal one. It's a waste of money to do innovation and technology in Hong Kong. Any clue? Any ideas? I can tell you the reason. The answer is yes, definitely yes. Okay, so I can finish my presentation and then I can go home now, right? Okay. No, definitely not. But let me tell you the reason why we're doing it. Yeah, I think that's the most important point. Let's start with doing it. Okay, first of all, I would like to share with you this very interesting slides. I'm not so sure if any of you guys read this one before. Sorry for those who don't understand Chinese, but please, whoever sits next to you can read Chinese, tell them. This is the slides talk about, for different industries, how you will lose your passion, okay? When you look at the bottom one, it's saying like education and research and development, which apparently Alan and Ray would lose their interest and passion at the age of 22.
I'm 44, but not yet.
you know the reason why? This is something very interesting about being an entrepreneur. Because if you are an entrepreneur, you never lose your passion. May not be the same company, may not be the same project, but being an entrepreneur, actually, we don't have this issue, I'm telling you. Because we keep doing something new, we keep chasing our dream, we keep trying to do something that we would like to change the world or make our world a better place, all those cliche things, but that's true. Okay. But very sadly, when you look at different industries, actually this is a survey done by over like 800 something people. And I somehow find it's somehow true. Okay, besides what Alan briefly mentioned about me, let me tell you something very personal. I'm 37 years old. I hope I look younger than 37 years old. Do I? Yeah. Because whenever I walk into the EMBA class, by the way, this PowerPoint I share with one of the EMBA classes in Hong Kong. And whenever I walk in, I really hope that people think I look younger than 37, but I hope so. And my entrepreneurial journey actually start with something very humble. A very small company, only have two people, me and my partner. And over the last 15 years, I found and co-found more than 6 companies, and that's the result. 1 win, 2 losers, 1 sleeping, and 2 are working on it. I guess today I'd like to share a bit some companies that I'm still working on it. And all these are just mumbo-jumbo figures. Okay, I'm not going to mention. But I'll tell you that besides being an entrepreneur, I also invest in different businesses. Okay, more personal stuff. A lot of people don't know what the reason why I called Jimmy. Okay, lucky that that's not the name that being just named by the English teacher when they ask you, do you have English name? I think that's a very common in Hong Kong in the past. And the reason why I called Jimmy, because when I was small, there's a cartoon character called Fat Pig Jimmy, because I was really, really fat. I was actually the second fattest boy in primary school. So that's the reason why they call it. And you know what? I have like triple chins. But the day back when I had the triple chin, I didn't want to take pictures. So that's the epic one that I will show you. All right. And many people say, okay, what's the building blocks of a business? There's 4 very common building blocks: money, business ideas, people, and ideas. Who think the money is the most important elements for a business? Put your hands up. Only a handful of you. Okay, so for the rest of you guys can take out all the money from your wallet and give it to me then. Because you're thinking what the money is not important, right? Okay, how about business model? Anyone? Okay, quite a few, okay. How about idea? Okay. I see some people just keep raising whatever I ask, okay. Thank you for the support, being supportive. How about people? Okay, what? Okay. You know, I used to say people is the most important component for the business because people would have money, ideas, and business model. All right. But I'm telling you, actually, this is something very important missing here. Okay, so let me start with my entrepreneurial journey. Not to mention those actually I mentioned in the media when I started when I was 3 years old. Those kind of stories. But this is a popular one that I really started a company after I finished my school in the UK. I always share with people, I always ask people, let's have a guess. I finished my study in Cambridge and I did work in the UK for a few months. And then when I come back to Hong Kong, let's have a guess. How much was my first salary when I worked in this startup? Let's have a guess. No one? Okay. That was like 1,500 RMB. Actually, the first company was in Shenzhen. I started with one of my colleagues in China. And 1,500 RMB, like back then, RMB was smaller than Hong Kong dollars, by the way. And most of the people thought I'm insane. You know, unlike most of my classmates, they work in either investment banks or consultancy. I took just a tiny bit of the paycheck and worked on this startup. But very lucky, after a few years of hard work, it paid off. In 2009, we got acquired by another company, and in 2010, it went public. And that was the company that still helping me financially to support in other startup projects. You know, so just one win is more than enough. So after I exit my company, I did all the new rich would do. I spend money here and there and enjoy a bit of life. But after a short period of time, I realized that those of things they give you excitement, but it couldn't really give you long-lasting joy. You guys may be thinking, is you crazy? How would that be not having fun? You have fun with that, but after a while, you just realize that you have more things to do, rather than just spending and enjoying life. So I realized I really would like to continue my entrepreneurial journey in other areas, especially the areas or industry that could have like a good social impact. So that's why I look for projects that beyond my profession. I look for projects that in bioscience, in health tech, in other technologies that I don't really know. So, okay, day back to 2011. This is something that I rarely share with other people. That actually I have 3 projects come up to me, and I ended up invested in 2 of them. Okay, the company that I would like to share today, another company that actually everyone knows about, and another company that I guess no one knows about it these days. Okay, and guess like which 2 I invest? Any clues? I invest the first 2, the biotechnologies one. If I invest in that one, I think I'm another level of wealth. But sometimes life is like that. Okay. When I remember Professor Zhang approached me, he was asking me for a very small amount of money, not a big amount of money. And I didn't understand what's that. I just said, oh, those drones is for the hobbyists. He told me all the things that how the drone would change the world in the future. And I just think that, okay, I didn't play drone myself, so I didn't understand. So take a bit more those failing experiences. That's one of the companies that I invest. It loses tons of money, I'm telling you. It's just a few years. And that experience, a lot of people ask me, oh, you lost so much in this company, and then how you think about it? I tell people that this is a very expensive EMBA class. Okay? Yeah, because you lost a lot of money. And then I always ask people, for whoever goes to business school, especially for the EMBA, if they would like to do the startup, don't pay the school fee, just do it. Why you pay the school for teaching you something that you won't learn and only would learn through your own painful journey? And that actually experience taught me something very important, something missing at the very beginning of the components of business. The most important point, which is actually pointed out by one of my mentors, Bill Gross, mentioning about timing. Okay, because at the very beginning I mentioned about some important elements, people that actually having money, ideas, and business model. But one very important component for and actually being the single biggest component for the startup succeed was the timing. Okay, for that particular company, we started too early. Nowadays, there's a company called Prenetics. Okay, exactly doing the same thing, exactly the same technologies, doing exactly the same marketing that we did 10 years ago, but because of the timing. So, okay, this is today's character, the Vitargent. As I mentioned, I invest 2 of the projects. One already closed down, and this one is still survive and gave us a lot of reputation and fame, not necessarily financial success. But this is a company that gave us a lot of credits. And if you guys join any government event, you know that we're always being mentioned as one of the successful cases, blah, 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 that kind of things. I'm not going to go into details for what the technology is all about, but you see us everywhere. The year that we launched, we were the only Hong Kong company being mentioned in the Financial Times. We won some awards. You see us in different expos. Even one of the big 4 companies joined us as shareholders. And it seems like when you guys did any business class, they will tell you there's a phase of time called valley of death. That particular look, And whenever, if your company passed that stage, everything will be smooth and good and nice, no roller coaster ever. But the reality definitely not the case like that. Okay, it actually even worse. I'm telling you, that's even worse. So that's why when I teach in the business school, I always tell people, because the business school really obsessed with the case studies, and then they will tell you that how successful company works and what kind of strategies they have and what those failure cases are and then why they fail. And let me tell you, that there's no same formula for success or failure. No such thing. Just like the entrepreneurial journey. Everyone is different. We just share different experiences. Like this one, in the business school, the professor or the consultant will tell you this. Okay, after the bit of that, you get Series A, B, C, and IPO. Everything is rosy and nice. But as I mentioned, the reality is always brutal. And as I briefly mentioned to you about the achievement of Vitargent, it seems like we didn't went through this kind of stuff. It's not true. The same thing happened to us. A lot of people didn't know. The bigger the award that we had, the deeper the financial crisis that we had. Okay, it was actually really funny, that kind of feeling. Whenever we went to the stage and received the award, and then actually we were nominated by those very, very successful people, like back then. And I just feel like, oh my gosh, how dare they, how courageous they were to nominate us for those awards. You name it, we got all the startups awards like in Hong Kong or in the region or even globally. But we were in a very, very deep financial crisis. Okay, so this is another thing that taught me when I being a investor, I don't look at those awards because from my experience, one of the company we got all awards, but we were in deep trouble. All right, and the important thing is even when we were in a deep trouble, why we didn't give up? Okay, I guess that's a very important thing to be mentioned. I guess because this particular company, Vitargent, is having a social mission that we are trying to solve a really, really big social issues by our technologies. I guess that's the single biggest reason why we didn't give up and why we keep burning money in this company. And what was the reason for what's the problem that we're trying to solve? It's a problem called endocrine disruption. Okay, that's something mentioned about a lot of products or the raw materials or chemicals that are around us. that actually unknowingly having some effect on our body, especially for the endocrine system, which is the most important system for human beings. Okay, and some of the problems that are associated with these issues like cancers, reproductive disorders, you name it. I'm not going to go into detail, but let me tell you something very important, especially for ladies. I guess for the double E, you shouldn't have too many girls.
We have more than 30%.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Okay, yeah. This is mainly for women's issues. A lot of people may ask, okay, the advancement of the diagnostic technology is improving. The advancement of the treatment technology for the breast cancer is improving, right? But the incidence rate never dropped. And it becomes younger and younger for people who suffer these issues, all right? This is the first case. And second thing is about reproductive issues. I guess you guys are still too young to think about this. I hope you, only handful of us are parents here. But I just quote you figures. 25 years ago, only 1 in 20 couples have these issues. Now 1 in 4. Okay, after 20 years. And then the reason why, if you ask me and the expertise from the company, we test a lot of skincare cosmetics products. Okay, don't ask me. Okay, don't, after this session, don't ask me like, okay, I'm using this, whether it's good or not. Okay, I just show you an example. Something called BB cream. For guys, okay, BB cream is not for baby. All right, the women will know. We ask them. This kind of product, they impose a very strong estrogenic effect. This is the figures I show you about like 20,000, and what those 20,000 figures means for 1 gram of the product is over 1 contraceptive pill for its potency. Okay, and then you're using it every day, especially for this kind of product. Actually, you put on your face what you call the stay-on effect. You don't just rinse it off like a shampoo or shower gel. It's actually constantly like imposing the effect on your body. And my scientists and the team actually, they invent some biotechnologies to tackle these issues. They try to screen all those from raw materials to the end product and help those manufacturers to produce stable product. Okay, and that's the reason why I'm so obsessed with this project. Okay. And personally, when I was 11 years old, my mom actually was diagnosed with the breast cancer, but it was an early stage. And since then, we got to know, I studied hard, the reason beyond the issue. We realized a lot of things that we shouldn't touch, we shouldn't consume. So when I came across to this project, I naturally got to know as an insider. Like for example, after my mom recovered, she couldn't eat the royal jelly, even soybean milk she couldn't drink too much because that's a natural phytoestrogen inside. But for a lot of products that we use these days, we don't really know. Okay, that's really kind of big issue that our company with technology is solving. But only having the technology is not enough. You have to find a way to communicate with the general public. So that's why we realized that we should use the language that most of the laymen and general public will understand instead of talking like those very sophisticated rocket science, molecular biologies. We try to launch another platform to help consumers to choose a product. So that's why we have another brand which is for the public education called Test It or 小鱼清澈. It is very popular in mainland China. We just rate product into 3 categories, like a traffic light, easy to understand. And each of our reports, I think we have already published more than 30, right, Kitty? More than 30 reports. And each of the report over like 50 million readers. And some of the very interesting things that this lady, Gloria Jam, or people call her Jam, is also one of our shareholders. She joined us because of the vision that what we do. And she helped us greatly in China, doing the market promotion. You see us everywhere. I guess you guys don't shop. If you go shopping in a supermarket, especially for eggs, you see us. You see the product that would bring. Okay, this is a product that being certified by us on this. And what we're doing, there's a lot of people working on the drugs. They think a lot of new drugs discovery can change the world and help a lot of people. For us. Equally important, a lot of people use skincare and cosmetics product every day. So we would like to be the one that will help them from raw material supply to formulation to the end of the product life cycle to safeguard the product safety. And this is not just a stop. I'm also working on other projects now. Another very important trend is the alternative protein. So we're also working on some alternative protein product, plant-based meal, etc. So I guess the time is pretty much up, and I just want to share some thoughts on you and the reason why I start all these companies or invest in all these projects. When you guys, I don't know how many of you guys would like to do your own business. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not many of you guys. Okay, so in case you really don't want to do it, and don't just do it for the doing sake. Okay, some people just think, oh wow, being an entrepreneur is really cool. All right, especially in the past few years, I think entrepreneurs being glorified. Okay, over glorified, I guess. Just everyone would be Jack Ma with Jack Ma is now not a very appropriate figure. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. Okay, those are the successful figures. Like in the past, when I do my startup back to 15 years ago, like if you tell people you're an entrepreneur, the people will have this sign on them. Only losers will do it, because all the winners, they will just work on big companies, big banks, very different compared to what is going on these days. And then I realized that young people want to do cool things. We young people, we want to do really cool things. But not everyone actually is suitable being an entrepreneur. Having entrepreneurial spirits are great. And then you can apply those entrepreneurial spirit into your workplace, that's fine. And then being an entrepreneur is a journey to get to understand your strengths and weaknesses. But not necessarily you must be an entrepreneur. But in case you would like to do it, often focus on things that really bother you. Okay, just like the things that bother me, and then I realized that this is the thing that I should do. I should invest my time and effort in it. Think about it. I don't think we have Q&A, so I would like to finish my sharing with a quote, which is I constantly quote this one. I really love it. It's from a George Bernard Shaw in his very famous play called Man and Superman. I always say that stay unreasonable. Why? Because the reasonable people, they adapt themselves to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to themselves. So therefore, all major progress depends on the unreasonable one. So when people call you unreasonable, or your boyfriend or girlfriend, you say that's actually a compliment. Thank you.